All right, welcome everybody to the Get Growing live weekly work session with GetOiling. I am Coach Ashley. We're joined today by our founder and creator, Greg Kilwine.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming. We're excited you're here.
Yes, we are. And so today we're going to be talking campaigns and how you can build little robots that work for you when you sleep or when you're on vacation or when you're doing other things that are important to your business. So as you're coming in, definitely, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're coming from over here in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and open up my share so that we can kind of get into some activity here, because I have a poll and some questions for you guys as we're getting started. So let me go ahead and do that. Hello, Waynesville, North Carolina, Michigan. Oh, more North Carolina. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. All right. Perfect. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. All right. So yeah, like I said, today we're talking email campaigns. Now, last week we did go over creating newsletters. There are going to be some repeat elements of what you learned last week if you were here last week. But if you're brand new, no worries. You're going to know exactly where to go to get started to have great success with using campaigns to grow your business. For those of you who are brand new here today, welcome. We're really happy to have you. We do this every week at noon Eastern time and provide an opportunity for you to learn more skills to develop and grow your business online with GetOiling, and then of course to have that opportunity to get context, get your questions answered, speak with us directly, and get some help where you need it. So today that help is campaigns. We've been getting some really good questions actually lately on our Facebook page and in our inboxes about how you go about using this successfully. This is a really powerful tool for you to use to brand yourself as an authority and to really save yourself a lot of time where education and conversion of leads are concerned. So I want to start today with a poll. How many of you have written your own campaign yet? And Greg, I actually have this queued up in the polls. If you could enable that, please, that would be awesome.
Perfect. It is launched.
Great. All right. So you guys, how many of you have written your own campaign? We do have a couple of campaigns that are inside the system, but who has made their own? Keep those answers coming in. We're getting a lot, or over 50% now of everyone here, and it's looking pretty heavily like people have not actually written their own campaign yet, and that's totally fine. So we're gonna this is good news. So we'll be able to show you how you can get started with that today. And there we go. So also have a question for you, and you can respond to this in the chat box. Who among you who has created a campaign here today would like our help with optimizing that campaign? So if you have one that's already done, I don't care if it has 2 emails in it, it's fine. If you have a campaign that you have already started working on, send us a message if you would be open to coming out with us live today and going over what you've got in it so far to get our help on how to make it even better. All right, so we will get with you here at the end of our teaching time today and actually look at working on that campaign together. All right, so great. I've really got to get this thing fixed. All right, sorry
Looks
about
like
that, you guys.
80% of people have not written their own campaign that are on
All
today.
right, and I would bet if I had a second question in that poll, that a big reason why is because, well, 2 reasons I would bet. Number 1 is it seems like it would be incredibly time consuming, or number 2, you feel like you don't really know exactly what you would say or why it would work for you. And we're going to cover those things today. But let me ask you guys another question and respond to this in the chat. How would it feel if you had a robot telling and selling for you, working out of that inbox every single day of the year? How would it feel to have Rosie from the Jetsons here in your inbox telling everyone who's opted in all about why essential oils are important to a healthy lifestyle, or why essential rewards is a critical piece of that healthy lifestyle, How would it feel if you had a little robot or several little robots doing that work for you every single day? We're getting any responses there in the chat? You'll go ahead and this is not a poll. Just go ahead and put it in the comments.
Yeah, all sorts of responses. Awesome, amazing. Bring on the robots. Feel amazing, wonderful. Yes, please. It would be a relief. Empowering.
All right. Fantastic. Oh, I like that. Empowering. Awesome. So let's talk about campaigns. This is how you can create these little robots. And I will say there are a lot of folks who have some hesitation about creating campaigns because it does take some work to make them. But I promise you, think about it this way. Obviously, our robot here, she took a while for someone to build, right? But then how much time was saved because Rosie here like cooked all the food and cleaned everything. It was worth the time to build Rosie for the Jetsons, right? It's worth the time for you to put a little time into a campaign to save yourself a ton of time into the future. So let's talk about those. First, we're going to talk today about how to create these campaigns that work for you by educating and inspiring curiosity in people who opt in to those campaigns and that compel those people to take specific action. This is something that once this little box gets ticked, once you figure out that the action orientation is the goal, it becomes very easy to figure out what we're going to say and how we're going to write it. And I'll go through that here with you today. We're also going to talk about how you can package what you know like an expert. So people look forward to hearing from you, even if you're brand new to Young Living, to essential oils, to the internet. You know, this is something that you can do right now, no matter where you are in your business. If you started yesterday as a distributor, you can do this and you can look like an expert and you can share great information with people who will want to come back and hear more from you. You're also going to learn how to easily build this machine, this robot that saves you time and works for you 24/7 to grow your business. You'll also learn some campaign best practices and common questions. We're also then going to have Q&A and that opportunity for the hot seat. Remember, if you have started a campaign already, if you have campaigns in place that you would like some help with, leave us a message in the chat right now. And when we're done, we will come on together and work on that together. All right. So what is a campaign anyway? A campaign is a series of emails or texts. Today, we're really going to be focusing on emails that delivers over time to your prospects. And a campaign, what it does is instead of just slapping a novel inside of someone's email inbox or in their face or what have you, you're breaking down concepts. You're breaking down complex information into smaller pieces, right? Because people don't have the attention span, especially on the internet, to read an entire novel. We live in the era of sound bites, bits and blurbs. I mean, the video service, I have a 12-year-old and she's obsessed with watching these TikTok videos and they're like 10 seconds long and she watches these YouTube videos of like 300 TikToks in them and it's like the most maddening thing to me, but I digress. People want the small bits of information. That's what we really feel like we typically have the capacity to interact with until we decide that we're really intrigued and really want to devote our time to something. And we have to take into consideration here that most people don't have the capacity for attention to this great concept of healthy living, abundant living, essential oils, all the things that you know, and we need to provide them little morsels to get them hungrier for the big, big pie, right? So that's what campaigns do. They break down complex ideas and information. They also break things down into step-by-step so that people can obtain an objective. They can achieve an end by having followed the steps in a campaign. Now, reasons why you might need a campaign if you don't have one of your own already. Obviously, you do have some that you can use of ours that are great. We actually got a message the other day about someone who shared their GetOiling site for the first time and got someone signed up onto Young Living. So our campaigns do work, to be fair, but for the same reasons you would want to have your own newsletters to share information in your own voice, you are infinitely more effective and have such a higher chance of really connecting with people in a way that causes them to want to take action sooner when the campaign is in your voice. So you need a campaign because first, information overload leaves people frozen in inaction. When people have too many options, they don't take action. Have you ever experienced this before? You know, if you go into a specialty store, you go into a cheese shop, you're looking for a specific cheese and you're going to go buy that cheese and you're going to take it home. You walk into, I've used this example before in retail, but you walk into a Sephora and you're just overloaded because there's so many options of so many things, and you're just you could, well, you could be frozen in inaction, or you could spend way too much money. It's also the target effect. I'm sure you guys know what that is as well. So, but in terms of information, people will tend to stall and feel like they need to digest and understand every single thing before they do anything with it. And that's not what you want to happen, right? Because if you drop a load of information about essential oils or even about Young Living or Seed to Seal, like you got all this stuff and they're like, whoa, I'm going to need some time to process this. That's not what you want them to do. You want them to say, yes, this is easy. All I have to do is sign up for Essential Rewards and gradually ditch and switch my whole house. Okay, I can do that. That's the action that you want, right? Not, I need to think about it. So that's one reason you need a campaign. The other is to keep you top of mind with your prospects. Because again, like you could teach a class, you could have somebody come to to a class locally where you actually give a presentation that's maybe very in depth, and they can say, oh yeah, this is really great. That's a lot of info. I need to think about this, right? People aren't always ready to make a decision the first time they interact with information, and you need to be top of mind with them so they stay in that space of considering the information that you're sharing so that they might make a decision to join you. It also takes time to educate and build authority and trust, right? Again, you didn't learn everything that you know about the life that you're living thanks to Young Living now overnight, right? It took time, and it's going to take time for your prospects, and you need to provide that time inside of a structured setting where they have specific expectations and can even hope to achieve specific positive outcomes. And you get to do that inside of campaigns automatically. Also, it takes multiple, and in some cases, multiple touches to get a decision. So, okay, so they went to a class, it was a lot of info, they weren't ready to make a decision. If you weren't staying top of mind with them, maybe dripping more relevant information onto them, they can forget, even if you dive into something intensely, you could forget the details of it a few days later. My husband's a total movie buff, and he can like recall all of these, quotes and tropes and stuff from movies. And he'll be like, yeah, you remember that one time in this movie? And I'm like, I mean, I think I watched it. I probably did, but I lose that information if it's not directly relevant to me, right? So you want to keep the information that you're sharing as relevant as possible and as timely as possible with your prospects, and campaigns help you do that as well. And then of course it saves you time, right? So think about the amount of time it takes to teach somebody what you know, right? Again, you didn't learn everything that you know overnight. You're not going to teach it all overnight either. And you're also not going to teach every single person with the same amount of time individually, one-on-one. It's going to take you the rest of your lifetime to teach enough people to get you to Royal Crown Diamond if you're not creating some leverage with a robot, right? All right, so your campaigns are little business robots. And what they can do for you is first to demystify the huge topic that is essential oils, right? This is such a gigantic topic. Even doing a 101 class, the reason why you would typically just focus on the premium starter kit oils isn't just because those are the oils in the kit, but it's also because there are just too many for you to cover, right? There's so many concepts and applications that you can cover in one setting. And so your campaigns allow you to break it apart into something digestible, break it apart into something that isn't overwhelming, and into something that people who are new to the concept can feel confident in being able to embark upon learning. You could also share why essential oils are relevant or helpful to them. This is where you can get specific. You could talk to, to busy professional women about stress management and self-care, and how, a daily routine involving my favorite 5 essential oils has lowered my stress levels. My adrenals used to be shot. I'm doing great now. I'm going to show you how I did it, over the course of 7 days. Right? That sounds so much more interesting and actionable than, I'm going to tell you the history of essential oils. One of them is immediately relevant. And then one of them is, okay, well, when I have time, I might embark on that. You see the difference? You can also show people how to get a particular result. So this could be to clear out your cleaning cabinet of all of the things with the volatile compounds that contribute to respiratory distress in the home, right? Getting that result is important to people. It could be the steps that you take to, it could be a DIY process. You insert what you find relevant here, or what you think that the people that you would have follow you would find relevant. But that result is important to get them to take action. And you could also sell the Young Living lifestyle, right? And enroll people onto essential rewards. This is where, with campaigns, you can drip out about how essential rewards is kind of a no-brainer, because it's like having a Costco membership, except way better, right? And all natural, and all, where everything comes from, and so on. You can draw those comparisons there. You can also start to seed in here the idea of how sharing pays, right? And about how sharing gets you free stuff, or how you get great bonuses when you make those essential rewards orders each month. These are things that you can put into these campaigns. And campaigns can be targeted not just to your prospects, but in this case, maybe for essential rewards, you can send that to your members, right? You can talk about how people can deepen their relationship with essential oils, and how to, achieve greater outcomes. And through that, you can weave in the stories of what essential rewards can do for them, so that it becomes more of a no-brainer. You can do this once in a conversation with somebody. You can do it 10 times in a conversation with somebody, but it's the sharing of those stories and staying top of mind that keeps people actively considering that as an option for themselves. So campaigns would help you do that as well, especially where something like essential rewards is concerned, because you need to be talking about that one all the time. And campaigns help you talk about things all the time without you having to be present. It can also really help your members who are not sharing yet see a way forward with sharing without it feeling like something that looks like work, right? You can talk about, how fun it is. You can share stories of people on your team, or stories of other people that this mom from this town just, opened up a table at a flea market, and now she's getting, this result. Right? You can share stuff like that that'll inspire people to take action. And then, of course, you can teach your business builders. For every business builder that you bring on board, everybody who's interested in growing a business with Young Living, you need to teach them the same things and point them to the same resources that they can then go and repeat, because this is all about duplication, and campaigns are a perfect tool to do that as well. And of course, these possibilities, guys, they're endless. There's so much you can do. So let's talk real quickly about how to build a great campaign robot. First, you want to begin with the end in mind. So what is it that you want your little robot to do for you? Is it that you want to save time educating your prospects? Is it that you want to share Young Living with a lot more people a lot more quickly, but you don't necessarily have a lot more time to accommodate those extra exposures? Campaigns can help you do that. So do I want to, I want to educate people, or I want to save time teaching my team or getting people started. Maybe I'm spending a lot of time with people who are getting started and not enough time finding new people to join and become members. You could also show people how to achieve something desirable. This is what you would want to do for a prospect, so this is how I do this, my 7-step guide to this or that. And then also, how do you want it to work? What's your angle? Is it, and here's an example for you, destination detox, how to clean up your mind, body, and home in 7 easy steps, right? So now you know that there's going to be 7 emails in a campaign that's going to break down this concept of detoxing mind, body, and home, spread out over the course of 7 days. So that's an angle there. Another angle would be ready to build a life of freedom. Start here. This could be talking about the benefits of sharing Young Living and what it can do for you. And again, breaking that complex concept down into multiple steps. All right. You also want to take, well, the first thing that you want to do in terms of getting a campaign going is to first decide on that concept, decide on the angle, and then break it down and make an outline for yourself. So what's the specific actionable outcome that you want your prospect to take? And specifically, think about it this way: what would you want your prospect to get from this? What do they want, right? What's their expectation going to be? Because you do have a responsibility to set the expectation of what they'll get and what their outcome will be as a result of opting in and following along with this information. So you can break this down as a step-by-step guide. You could break this down as a how-to. You could break this down in such a way as to demystify a big topic. You could break this down to defeat a big bad, like that detox in 7 days. You could also, pick a worthy outcome to achieve. What is, as I talked about in last week's training about the about newsletters, what's your oily angle? What's the passion that you have that relates intimately to your relationship with Young Living? Is it your, is it toxins in the home? Is it specific, health related concerns or lifestyle choices? What are some outcomes that people that are like you might be looking for that you can help them achieve by breaking down what you know into a set of simple, digestible steps or pieces of information? And you have to remember, of course, people don't just sign up to get sold to. They sign up for a reason. So keep that reason in mind and make sure that as you are breaking down and organizing the information that you're going to share in a campaign, that you're remembering the reason why they're going to sign up in the first place so that you can deliver that to them successfully. You also want to make sure that you write these emails out first. So as you're breaking this down, start with an outline, and then for each email that you're going to write in the campaign, write it in a word processor first. I find that when we're trying to do this inside of the GetOiling system, or really inside of any system, we can get hung up on technical things like formatting or additions of pictures or adding hyperlinks to texts, and really kind of miss the forest for the trees. Write your emails out first. This is going to save you a ton of time when you go to actually put the campaign together. All right, so the goal is to get people to take action, right? And for them to get results. So make sure that you're writing these emails in a way that guides them toward taking an action. And don't be afraid to tell people what to do, such as, hit reply now and tell me what your goals are, for the next 90 days. Maybe if you're writing about something related to health, telling someone to hit reply to get that engagement, or to click here to get this, watch this video now and come back and let me know what you think. Put that kind of stuff in there. Give people directions, because if you don't position yourself as an authority, you will not be received as one. Also, like I mentioned, don't worry about formatting yet. Content first. Make sure that you just get the emails written first. Make sure that you use compelling language for your subject lines as well. So this isn't just day 1, history of essential oils. I would come up with something that sounds a little more intriguing, right? Sorry about that. So I would do, so if you wanted to do a history of essential oils, I would pose a question, right? Questions are a great way to open an email and to get more people to open their emails. So, you could say something to the effect of, did you know that they used this in ancient Egypt? right? And then they open the email like, oh, well, what are you talking about? What about ancient Egypt, right? So using a question like that is more compelling than just being very, bland about it, right? And then you want to make sure that you're being congruent throughout everything that you put together in a campaign. So this would mean that you might reference previous information. So maybe, in yesterday's email or in, email, number 3 of the series, you learned, and so on. And then you also want to keep people interested in what's to come. So in the next email, I'm going to tell you about such and such, stay tuned. Right? So make sure that you hint at future information as well. And then, of course, once you've got those emails written, you want to gather any supporting links. So if you want to hyperlink off to different places, or if you want to include things like, like custom pages in your GetOiling accounts, or, links to videos and so on, grab those links as well, because now it's time to brand your campaign. And I think we can actually show you how to do this. This might be helpful. So when you're branding your campaign, you're really just providing something that is congruent, that people interact with throughout the entire process, right? And it's really actually very simple. So the first thing that you want to do is give your campaign a compelling title. Name it, right? So if this is, 7-day, what did I say? It's just called a 7-day detox, or ditch and switch, or however you want to do it. Make it compelling, make it related to the angle that you're taking, and to the outcome that your prospect is looking for, and give it that nice title. Again, it's not just Essential Oils 101. You could do that, or you could make it just a little more interesting, and maybe even a little more relevant to the people that you really want this to reach, and who you really want to take specific action. And then make a pretty header image with the title and your name up at the top, that you'll insert this into all of your emails, just like we showed you actually how you can use images last week in newsletters. And then you'll build that first campaign message, which we'll show you this here in just a second. I know I've been teaching for a while now. We'll build your first campaign message in saved replies, the saved reply feature in GetOiling, and then use that as a template for the rest of your campaign. This will save you a ton of time. And then again, keeping things congruent, you want to repeat the formatting that you use and the branding, such as the images that you use, throughout the campaign. So when people open their inbox and they open your email, they're going to have the same experience each time, and they're going to build that relationship and that expectation. So keeping things sort of the same visually and structurally in terms of how they interact is important as well. All right. So I want to stop my share real quick. What we'll do first is show you guys how to do that first step, right? So inserting a picture with some text, just to brand a campaign, and then inserting that into saved replies. Did we have any questions so far as what's already been covered? We will do some Q&A later. But just while we're here, everyone take a collective breath before we show you how to do the next thing.
Let's see, we do have a question from Val about once a campaign is built, you can save it and reuse it with each new person, or once it is used, you need to remake it. You build it once and reuse it is the answer. Yes.
So you would actually build it for a particular purpose, right? So let's just say that you were to build a new business builders campaign, right? So this is just for people who have opened up and said, I want to earn money, I want to build a business with this. And then you drop them, or you apply the campaign, excuse me, I can't speak today, apply the campaign to their contact in the contact manager, which Greg is going to show us how to do here in just a bit. And when you do that, they're automatically going to start receiving those emails. So the first email might be, welcome, so excited to have you. Here's the why that I started with. Now tell me yours. Hit reply now and tell me why you want to grow this business. Over the course of the next 30 days, every other day, I'm going to share with you a specific action that you need to take, and make sure you save all of these emails so that you can come back to them for reference in the future. For those of you who are on our Destined for Diamond training program, that's actually a really great thing for you to follow along with and kind of take notes as to how you can brand and then set expectations and then build out a campaign. It is a little dense in terms of information, and you don't have to go that dense with information, but we are teaching you how to use, you know, internet marketing for young living, so we have to get a little dense. All right, so first things first, to create an image, you guys don't have to do anything that complicated. If you have made an image for a Facebook profile, right, like a cover photo for a Facebook profile or for a Facebook business page, this works here. I would recommend using something that is more long and rectangular. And you know what my favorite thing is to use is it's actually a presentation maker, you know, so like a PowerPoint or Keynote on the Mac. And so all you have to do is just set up, and actually, Greg, off the top of your head, is there a resolution that you think would be ideal to use for, I mean, just generally speaking, you know,
probably like 3 times as wide as tall. So like, okay. I don't know, maybe 600 by 200, something like that.
Okay.
That proportion, I'm just making those numbers up, but yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay, cool. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to show you guys this. Can you see my Keynote screen here?
Yes.
All right, cool. So, and I know, you know, you guys may or may not have this, but just to give you an idea. So what was the custom? So I'm setting a custom slide size. What was it that you said just now?
You could do like 600 by 200 or 1200 by 400. Those are the same aspect ratios.
Okay, perfect. So I'm changing that. All right, cool. And then I can add some images. There we go. I'll put this guy in here. All right, so we've got this. Obviously, this, you could pick better images. I've just added that. I'm going to put my name down here. And I'm going to say with Coach Ashley, and this is going to be demystifying building young living online. Okay, so this is obviously is not that compelling. This is very kind of black and white looking, but these are the sort of the components that you would want to have. So here's, you know, we've got an image over here. You can have one across the whole thing if you wanted to. Pull it off the internet, use one of your own, you know, use one of the free image services out there, and, you know, play around with the formatting, you know, make the text however you like it. There you go. How about that? All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to export. So under File, I'm going to export to Images. And I'm exporting it as a JPEG, which is just an image file. And I'm going to call it campaign header. Okay. And now I'm going to go share this. I'm going to load this up onto a campaign and show you what this looks like. Okay, so you should be able to now see this back office here for John. So remember, we're going to begin this with your saved replies. This is what's going to create the branding and the template that's going to save you time. So what you do is under contacts, you go to settings, and then you go right here to saved replies. And then we're going to create one. And so I'm going to insert an image. Oh, that's not it. All right, I'm going to upload, my fault. And click. And what did I call that? News campaign header. Okay. Now there it is. And I'm just going to stretch it out nice and big here so it covers the top. And now I have a campaign header. And so now I can insert first email text. And then I can have a signature down at the bottom as well. And, I can put other stuff underneath there. I'm going to call this saved reply demystifying buzz. And this is the saved reply name. Nobody's going to see that but you. Doesn't matter what it says. And the subject, this is actually going to be a subject line. So when somebody opts in, we're just going to say, you're in, welcome to the course. And then I'm going to create that saved reply. All right, so this is what I was talking about just a moment ago about branding your campaign, because then what you get to do is, and going just a little bit ahead of where we need to right now, is when you go to settings and you go to campaigns and you create a campaign, and we're going to call this demystifying. And I'm going to put my name in here. It's going to be email only, this one. And then I'm going to create the campaign. It's going to take me to it. I'm going to write a new message. And I'm going to pull my saved reply from right there. And so now I have the day 0. So this is the very first message that's sent. And then when I want to write another message, all I have to do is go to my saved replies, pull up the same one, and then insert the second email text that you've already written out. Okay, and then do your formatting and all of that stuff. But now when you send this email out, it's going to have the same image each time, so people know that there's a theme, they remember, they interact with it differently. So it's different than just, getting a bunch of text in your email. So I hope that it helps and that makes sense. I'm going to go back over to, hold on just a second. Bear with me, please. Sorry. All right. I think we are ready to go over to walking through. Oh, wait, no, just a couple of things first before we go into building. And by the way, Greg, did we have anyone who wanted to work with us live that has a campaign? Do we have any candidates for that?
We did actually have a couple. There was an Erica. I don't know if she is still on. I don't see her in the list, unfortunately. And I believe Jan is somebody else who wanted to participate.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so that's what we just went over here, keeping the branding congruent throughout and using the saved replies feature to build out that campaign template. All right, so now some common questions. First, what if I'm new or I'm not confident in my knowledge about essential oils or about Young Living and so on? What's important for you to understand is that what I've learned is just as valuable as what I know, right? Nothing is new under the sun. A lot of information that you've discovered from someone else, right? The majority of it, except for your own experience. Your own experience is valuable, and it's just as valuable to share what you've learned from elsewhere. So the other thing to remember is that pointing to expert information is the most duplicable thing you can do in this industry, right? So say, look, I know this is my experience. Let me show you what I've learned from people who know what's up, right? That's a great way to get started if you don't already feel like you can stand tall in your own expertise. Now, another question is, how frequently should I set the campaign to deliver? And the answer to this depends on what you've promised. Right? So if the outcome, if the goal related to the campaign is that inside of 7 days, they're going to learn how to detox their mind, body, and home, then they're going to expect, and you should expect to deliver an email once a day for 7 days. If it's something that's, that's bigger than that, then it's going to be a little different. So make it daily if the promise is daily, or if the promise is to be something intensive and short, right? But otherwise, I would say every 2 to 3 days is more ideal, because you don't want to overwhelm people. And then what are the kinds of things I can share in a campaign? First is, what do you know, right? Like, so what is your personal experience? Also, what you've learned from elsewhere. ILT, invest, learn, and teach, right? So invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge, learn more about the lifestyle, about oils, about the business, however it is that whatever your angle is, learn those things that you've invested in, and then go out and teach them to those who don't already know, but who would love to learn these things. And then you become the expert to those people. You become credible to those people. Of course, they will take your recommendations when you say it's time to buy your PSK, right? Also, remember what caused you to take action. Why did you decide to take action on information that was shared with you that resulted in you joining Young Living? Ask yourself that question. Other people are going to find that compelling as well. These are things you can share in a campaign. And then what do you find yourself frequently repeating? This pertains especially to foundational principles about the company, and about unique factors about Young Living, such as Seed to Seal, and programs inside of Young Living, like Essential Rewards. This also has to do with standard practices and how you would get people started for sharing as business builders as well. All right, and then some best practices for email campaigns. Day 0 is the immediate delivery. This is what people get right away. And you'll see this in just a second when we demo this. What you want to do on day 0 is to set specific expectations. So over the course of the next 7 days, you'll receive an email every day sharing with you blank, right? Or over the next 30 days, we'll send an email every day or 2 or every 3 days or however you set it. And so that way people know when they sign up, this is what I'm in for. Make that clear at the outset. Also, on day 0, a best practice is to ask people or tell people to add your email address that's associated with your GetOiling account. Add that to their address book to make sure that they receive every email in the campaign. Stressing the importance that every single thing that you send to them is important and they need to see it. So make sure right now, put me in your inbox so that we're confident that you receive everything that you've just signed up for. And then ask for engagement. Ask people to hit reply and give you a response. And then finally, you want to ask them to look for the first email. So you may have that set to also deliver on day 0. Or you could have day 0 be a more extensive thing that says, now tomorrow we start our class, be ready. You know, you'll see day 1 in your inbox tomorrow, right? That's another thing you can do. Remember, another best practice is to write like you're speaking to people directly, right? Because you use the personalization tags that makes it look like you're actually speaking to one person when you're in fact speaking to many. Keep your voice as though you're speaking to people directly. And then make sure that you're formatting the way that you space things out, or the way paragraphs go, or bullets, lines, italicization, or bolding of text, underlining of text. Format so that it's eye-catching and so that it's easy for people to read. If it's just a giant block of text, you're going to have a lower likelihood of people engaging with the whole thing. And then finally, less is more, in so much as less information per message delivered over a longer period of time is more ideal. Because again, our goal is not to overwhelm people with information, but to give them just enough to learn something, apply it so that they see the value, and then they can't wait to take the next step. And you're working them up to a point where they can't wait to take the next step. And the next step is get your premium starter kit, get onto Essential Rewards, right? All right, now we're gonna do a campaign demo.
Actually, right before we get into that, Charles had a great question related to this, what you were just saying. He wants to know, like, what are some of the common mistakes that make a campaign less effective? And some of it might just be the opposite of what you were saying, but I don't know if there's anything that comes to mind for you.
Things that make campaigns less effective. Yeah, I mean, it would be the opposite of the things that I've said, but if I were to point them out more specifically, a less effective campaign is going to be one who is not delivered in an organized fashion, to where there's not a clear end, right? Where I'm just going to send you this information and I'm not going to give you the context as to why it's relevant to you or how you should take action with it right now. So it would just be giving away information for information's sake, or just constantly marketing and pitching, as opposed to, again, giving that valuable information and in the context that they understand why this is helpful to them and why they should take action on it right now.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. I think that was it for questions. We did have another volunteer too, if we want to do that, but we have the campaign demo here quick, right? So let me share out my screen.
Yes, so for those of you who feel like this might be overwhelming, Greg is going to make it all look very, very easy for you because it is. um, yeah, so just make sure that you start with your get all of your materials together first before you start this next step.
Right. Yeah. It's so much easier when you have the campaign already written, the emails that you plan to send.
Mhm.
So to write the campaign, Ashley showed you some of this, but I'll step through all this as well. Under contact, click on settings, which is actually the screen that you're seeing right now. Click on, well, starting, I guess, with the saved replies, which was the first place you started. You want to create your saved reply. And what this is a template, which I can just click on the one that she created here because we're in the same account. Put it in here as the names as you showed and save it. Once you have that, then you can come back over to contact settings, click on your campaign. Now the campaign is this is what you can apply to contacts, and the days that you're going to see here on the next screen. Let me find the demystifying one here. The days that you're going to see here are relevant or relative to the day that they were added to that contact. I'll set these up to be separate days. So yeah, here are the emails. She, set up the same one. I'll change this to just be a little bit different so we can see it. I'll say like second day. Of course, you'd want to use something a little more exciting probably than that on the subject line for the second day. But yeah, so in the message, the save replies show up here, so you can easily put that in here. Ashley demoed that already. It's a standard editor. There's some extra features here if you want to build in a text campaign as well. You can send a separate message if you're sending it by text, and as well as a picture message. But generally, that's all you would need to do. Once you have them all input, and when you're adding a message, make sure to click the Write New Message button. This drop down over here is to add an existing message. You can like share them between campaigns, which is kind of an advanced feature, but you want to write a new message every time. Typically, you can stagger them out a little bit. And there's probably some, depending on your campaign, those of you on the Destined for Diamond, you notice they don't arrive every day. There's some gaps in between. Some people are more sensitive to that than more recipients, I should say, are more sensitive to the timing than others. So really, setting that expectations, like Ash just said, is great, because then they'll know, like, okay, I'm going to expect an email every Thursday, or maybe it's not, you can't do Thursdays, but every 7 days, or every 2 days, or every day, or whatever the case might be, having that expectation. But yeah, you'll just want to have them out. And as you add more messages, they'll show up down here, and you can just change the days by clicking it. So what this will do is send this one immediately, and then send this one out 3 days later. And
Bonnie says, she says, "Whoa, you're going fast." You write a new message instead of adding to campaign. Yes, you click the white button right there that says write a new message, because this green one is actually related to over to the left, that list of messages that you may already have written or that are already inside the system.
Yep. So I'll add a third message here as well. And hit add. And now there's a third message. It always puts it at the top. So let's say we want the third message to be on day 6. I can do that, and it'll end up on the bottom after you re-save it there. Okay, I believe, and if you ever do want to go back and like change the name of the campaign, you can do that over here as well under Edit Campaign Details. That'll take you back to this page where you can change the name. Now, this is how you get, there's several ways that so creating the campaign by itself does not, like, it's not going to add it to anybody. Nobody's going to get this campaign right now because nobody has it on their contact record. So the next step is, it kind of depends on your purpose of the campaign. If this is a campaign that's attached to, say, like a landing page where you're posting on Facebook, then you would set that up under landing pages. If it's, say, a new business builders campaign, odds are that's some conversation that you had that they're like, hey, I'm super interested in business building. I mean, you could set it from landing page, but maybe that's a case where you would go in and manually add it, or maybe a new member. Like if you're monitoring for new members in your team every month, you could go in there and say like, okay, great, these new members, they don't have my new members campaign, and you can manually add them. I'll show you how to manually add them here, and then hop over to landing pages, and then we can get somebody on here live for our campaign review. So I have another tab open here with the contact manager. So what I'm going to do now is going to pick me in my list of contacts here. And this is just one way of adding a campaign. As you scroll down here, there's a campaigns box, and you can click add, and there will be the demystifying, not this one. And I just hit add, and then I'll start to get it. I'll go ahead and do that and show you how you can remove it as well. So right now, my inbox, within a minute or so, I should be getting the first email. But let's say this was a mistake. I can just click on it and click delete, and then that will remove that campaign. It doesn't, if we remove the campaign from the contact, it still exists under contact settings. Now going back to the contact manager, you can do this in bulk as well. So this is super handy, like if for new members campaigns, for example. Most of those people aren't signing up on your website under a landing page. You import them from the Young Living Virtual Office. They will show up in your contact manager, and so then maybe you want to go add them. So I'll select them in this case, but you could either use filter by name, or use the filter box, or you can select them. I'll select them in this case. So what I'm going to do is, once I've selected them, I'll come up to actions, and they're under selected contacts. Now I'm going to click on this add campaign follow-up planner tags. And this is where I would choose the campaign. I'm going to come in here and pick my demystifying campaign. And you can bulk remove as well, because in case you accidentally picked the wrong one and add, it has happened before, you can go ahead and remove that from people as well. But I'll go ahead and add it here and click add. And now both of these contacts will have that campaign. So it's a great way to add them in bulk. And like I said, also remove them in bulk. Now, if you want to hook it up to like a landing page, if we were to make a demystifying Young Living landing page, that's under landing pages here on the left. And I think we've covered this in a different training. If not, we'll cover it in a future week. But I'll click on one of these. And so you want to match the landing page, of course, to what you're getting, what people get when they sign up. This one isn't related at all, but under settings and page settings, there's a drop down here for the campaign to use, and I can come in here and choose the one we created today. And then if I go ahead and save it, then whenever someone signs up for this landing page, or signs up on the landing page, fill out this form, they'll start getting that campaign. So that's a great way to connect it as well. I think those are primarily the ways, let's go back here actually, of getting them on there. There's the page editor as well, which is very similar. That's under My Site Settings, the pages, but that's basically, oops, not site menu. It's basically the same format as the landing pages. Choose a page, and there's a page settings button, and then you can pick your campaign that goes with it. There will be, where is that at? Lead capture settings is where there will be a campaign, and we can pick the demystifying. So I think that covers all the ways in. So it's either, you can either add it to the campaign or to a contact, add all the campaigns to the contacts by yourself, or you can set them up on a landing page. Actually, there is one more thing I want to show you here quick. There's that, on your website, there's also that contact me button on some of the themes. And you can set that campaign up under contact settings, general settings. There is a default marketing campaign depending on which which country that they've chosen on their website theme. So you'd want to, if you wanted to change that one to one that's of your own, then you could come down here and do that there. So I think that's the actual ending of it. So
awesome. Yeah. So there are a number of ways, and yes, Lynn, we did do this last bit very fast. We want to make sure that we're not keeping you guys too long. You will receive a recording of this so that you can pause it as many times as you like to catch all of those bits of information. Yes, thank goodness for the replay. This is definitely a jam-packed session, but it's really an important thing for you guys to understand the scope of this tool that you have access to, and the best ways to use it. And so this is a little bit intensive. Definitely check the replay. But what Greg just shared is all of the different ways that you can connect a campaign to your prospects. So that's just to recap, that's on a landing page. If you have a landing page set up, you can apply them manually through your contact manager. Also, they could opt in through a landing page set up on a custom page, or through that contact button as well, which is cool. I didn't know that one. Awesome. Erica had a couple of questions. Are messages every day more effective or spaced out? That's going to depend on the promise that you've made. So if you say, this is going to be, 7-day detox, expect an email every 7 days. If this is a broader breakdown of a concept, every 2 days for the next 30 days, I'm going to send you a specific lesson and an action step to take, right? You can spread this out over a long period of time. Just make sure that you're keeping the action that you want people to take in mind, and you're always pointing them toward taking an action. So if you want to accomplish a thing inside of 7 days, then set the expectation. You're going to engage with an email from me every 7 days, and I'm going to show you how to do X, Y, and Z, right? And then she had another question, is saved reply is the setting your expectations message. Can you make that day 0? So my suggestion when you're using the saved reply feature to build your campaigns is that you create your first message in there, and then that becomes your template for all of the rest of them. When you add a new message to a campaign, it's always going to show up as day 0 first, and then you'll have to add the later date. So if you want, you make the first message, it shows up as day 0. That's the one where you place all of those expectations that I shared, right? So the, here's what you can expect, here's what you need to do now, right? Do that on day 0. And then you use that same saved reply that you've already made, create a new message with it, and make that day 1 or day 2 or day 12 and so on. Okay. We have a good question here. Is it possible to add someone to a campaign mid-campaign? Example, doing a 21-day campaign specific for the month. Can we add them in at day 10 instead of starting from the beginning?
The answer is yes and no. Day 0 messages are always sent out when you add to a campaign, but inside of the campaign, or when you're on the contact screen, there was that the campaign panel towards the bottom. If you click on the campaign instead of clicking the delete button, like I said, there's like this little circular arrow that you can click on and it'll reset it to that day. So what you would do is add it to that person, go to the campaigns panel on the contact page, and then click the day that you want. So they'll get day 0 and then they'll get day 10 or whatever in this example. So it's possible to jump around.
Okay, yeah, so you would basically like duplicate the campaign when you apply it to them?
No, you can just add the campaign, and then I guess if we have a minute here, I can
yeah, let's show that real quick just in case, so you guys know how to do that.
Yeah, so let me go back to my where is that at? I know I've got my contact man. Okay, so here's the contact that had that campaign on there, and I think I deleted it, so I'll go ahead and, oh no, I did re-add it. So here's a demystifying. You click on it and there's this little arrow. So if I want to jump ahead to day 6, I can go ahead and do that, and it will jump them ahead. You can see it's on day 6 now. It's going to skip, it already sent day 0. It would skip day 3, and then tonight day 6 would go out. So that's how you do that.
Awesome. All right. So Maria, if you are still here, would you please raise your hand and let me know? Maria Bigliardi. We have a volunteer. All right, fantastic. I'm going to bring you out. All right, oh, there we go. All right, you can turn on the video if you like, or, certainly say something, let us know that you're here and you can hear us.
I can hear you.
All right, perfect. So tell us about the campaign that you've created.
I have created using essential oils on a budget.
Ooh, I like it.
Just to give people an idea of how they can get started in this and save money and make the most out of it.
Fantastic. Do you mind if I share my screen showing what you've done so far?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, great. Can we see it?
Yes.
Fantastic. So this is using essential oils on a budget. Let's look at your campaign details here real quick. It's email only. All right. And what is your goal outcome for this campaign?
A lot of people, when they look into having greener options, better options, get a bit shocked when they see the price, and I just want to show them that it's worth the money, and it's not nearly as expensive as you think it is, and then showing them that they can do it and get them signed up.
Awesome. Okay. I like that. Ooh. All right, you guys. You see this great image? Oh, this is great. I love it. All right. So don't go broke going green. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So how to use essential oils on a budget. This is very direct language. It really speaks straight on to the point, and I think that that's really good. All right. So here's what you said. Hello, contact first name. Great job. Personalization tag. I'm honored that you're joining me for this class. Are you curious about removing harmful chemicals from your home and replacing them? Before I go through and read everything, because you've got a lot here, let me ask you first, have you used this already?
Yes.
Okay. And what would you like to improve about it? Or is there anything that you feel is maybe not working for you?
I guess I would just like your opinion
Okay.
of
Okay.
how I can improve it.
Okay, perfect. So you're asking questions, and that's good. Everything I'm seeing is really excellent so far. You have a really cool image. What did you use to make this, by the way?
Canva.
Canva. Okay, fantastic. Let's see, and you're using personalization tags, which, by the way, you guys, this little button right here will insert the first name of a contact. Okay, or if you wanted to at some point enter a member number in here, this is all available to you. That's how you get that tag there. Okay, are you curious about removing harmful chemicals from your home and replacing them with essential oils, but think going green is too expensive? Or maybe you've already dipped your toe in the world of essential oils and want to know more, especially how to get the biggest bang for your buck. Let me show how I use essential oils on a budget. This class, okay, you're setting the expectations. Ooh, I like that too. It'll take 10 to 15 minutes to read. Very good. Very specific expectations. And that's a very digestible specific expectation. I'm just asking for 10 to 15 minutes of your day to improve your life. Is that enough? All right. Here's what we'll cover. Okay. Fantastic. I like it. I like what you're doing with this. Reply with any questions. Okay. Cool. So if I were to give you any specific feedback on this, I would, and this is kind of nitpicky to be honest, because I think you're doing a really good job with this. I would not necessarily put their objection out front. You see what I mean by that? This, you know, if you're curious but you think it's too expensive, I think a lot of people don't even necessarily know yet what the benefit is before they see the price tag. And you don't want to prepare people to think that what you're going to share with them is too expensive, because then you're kind of encouraging a smaller scope of mindset. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So my recommendation here would actually be more oriented toward the positive outcome, as opposed to the thing that you are kind of creating an expectation for them to be opposed to. Okay. And then in terms of asking for engagement, which you've done here, like you have done everything that I said that you need to do. It was almost like you got my slides ahead of time. By the way, guys, she didn't. So in terms of asking for specific engagement, if you want people to take action, you want to be a little more specific than reply with the questions you have. Unless you say, take a moment and hit reply, take a moment and answer the following 3 questions, right? That, and then number 1, number 2, number 3. That way you're more specific, because you're either inviting a whole lot of paragraphs here if somebody is feeling particularly responsive, which would be fine. That's just not how most people are. If you give people too many options, they'll stand still, because they're like, well, I don't know which one you want me to do. I guess I'm not going to do anything, right? So try to narrow toward one thing that you want them to do each time. That would be my my advice on that one. All right, so let's look at the next one. So this is going to be, so day 0, that would be today. Day 2, that would be 2 days from today. So this is, the first one is An additional 2 days out. That's good. So let's start pinching pennies and saving dollars. I like it. Okay. So you have your own story. And then this is, what are you linking off to here? Does this have your product story on it?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Oily journey led me down the path to going green, living toxin free. Okay. Good, good, good. Did you know you're asking questions? Okay. So here's the big bad, right? So you're talking about the big bad now. What I would say, especially pertaining to what you've put in this top paragraph. In this paragraph, you're talking about, did you know that there are known carcinogens, the things that cause cancer, in dryer sheets, and they damage the respiratory system? Like you're shouting a warning flag to people. Did you know this is in your home and this is dangerous, right? I feel like this is the type of thing that could make its way into your subject line, right? So, so like beating that big bad without breaking the bank would be more along the lines of the type of thing that you would want to put in your subject line there, because people need to make that connection. So talking about pinching pennies and saving dollars, that could be about couponing. You want to, again, weave back in the essential oils on a budget bit, and still, you've got all budget in the title. I'd put some more, oil or health or even consequence related information in the title here. All right. You left your traditional job last year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. So, all right, big diffusing. Got a good amount of information here. Okay. So you got a lot of information here. This is good. So I would say that you have the opportunity to potentially break this one email down into 3 or more. And then keeping those, so talking about diffusing, or this, did you know your candles might be toxic? Like that as an email header would be very, very openable, right? Because a lot of people use scented candles, they use sprays, and they don't necessarily know what the dangers are. Those things deserve their own email. So err on the side of smaller emails with specific action steps. So you actually have a ton of content here that could give you an even longer, more engaging campaign. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you do basically the same thing here, talking about topical. You're really kind of breaking down the 101 format. I would definitely stretch this out into more emails. You've got easy DIYs. That's good. Okay. How to use essential rewards to save money. That's good. I like the way you position that. Let's see. Okay. So what I would do here, since your angle here is budget, I would say, learn how to save 24% a month, or something like that. Or, save hundreds per month, something like that. So instead of just get started, because that's very, very neutral, very middle, and not specifically action oriented, let's tie that back in with really the promise at the beginning of the campaign, the budget, right? The essential oils on a budget. All right.
All right.
Cool. Yeah. And again, you could definitely break this up a bit more. And what you could do as well, is at the bottom here, you could add in a little, so come down and italicize and say, sorry, y'all. All right. Did you know you can get all the oils I use and more at a 24% discount? Here's my secret source. And then hyperlink this to your Young Living link, right? And then just have this be in the bottom of all of them. So if people are like, oh my God, that's so cool about the diffusers, right? Then when they click that, they'd be like, oh yeah, well, there's a diffuser there. It comes with the starter kit. Of course I want to do that. So people could actually get started sooner. You don't have to necessarily wait for an entire campaign to drag all the way out. If you just have those little subtle additions, that are in there. So you're not pitching in every email, but it's sort of a tag at the bottom like, hey, by the way, if you're loving this, you can get started today. Here's where you can do it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, one quick thing that comes to mind too with getting started. Everybody's GetOiling site comes with a short Young Living sign up link. I think it's under the Share My Site button, but whatever your web address is, just add /start to the end of it, and it'll take you right to the Young Living sign up page with your number in there. So you can go ahead and drop that in on the bottom. That's like if you're wanting to send people to that sign up link, that's a great tip. And it's easy to remember.
Mind blown. I had no idea. That is so cool. Do we have, we could take another, we could take one more. Thank you so much, Maria.
You're welcome.
All right. We could take one more volunteer. If somebody else would like to have a campaign analyzed, if you'd like some feedback on something that you have been working on, we're here for that here just for the next few minutes.
I think, is Erica back on?
Okay, Erica's had some really great questions this week, and we would definitely love to help you out if you're still here. All right.
I see in the list, but also Jan, I think, had a question too, or some campaign too.
Erica had a question about the personalization if it's not in the database. So like if somebody texted in, then that's, well, I mean, they wouldn't have texted, you wouldn't be sending an email out with that. So with the text campaign, and how would that work, Greg? If you want to add a personalization tag and maybe people have just opted in via text.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in that case, if you know that it's going to be an opt-in by text, I'd probably recommend not like personalizing that right away, because there is no first name. It'll leave it blank. So, I mean, what you could do also is write it in a way where it's like, hi, contact first name, write it in a way where if the word was omitted, it wouldn't seem like there was something missing, I guess.
Yeah. And another just sort of best practices for using text marketing thing. It's what I would do if you're going to have a text campaign or you're going to interact with people via text in this way or have them opt in, have one of the messages that you send in your text campaigns be, hey, reply back with your first name so I can make sure, that I know who I'm communicating with. And then you could just go in and pop that in when people respond, right? Just go pop that into their contact info. That way you can have that more, obviously you can have more of a one-on-one conversation with them. That's also just another opportunity to open the door and talk more with the people that opt in, which is really important. But then of course you can personalize automatically into the future in that way. All right, we have Jackie here with us from North Carolina who would like to get some feedback on a campaign. Welcome, Jackie.
Hi, how are you? Let's see.
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I don't know where my video thing is, but that doesn't matter. You're not going to be looking at me anyway.
It's okay. All right, so I'm going to, oops, wrong one. Let me find your account here. There we go. And this is, there you are. All right. So tell me about the campaign that you've created.
Well, let's look at oils and animals. That's one that I used after a class. I used the kiosk mode for people to opt into it.
Okay.
And this, I've learned a lot today, so I probably didn't do it. Like I didn't have a header and all that stuff.
Okay. So you said oils and animals.
Yeah.
Great. Can we see it here?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So thanks for opting in. To learn more, over the next 9 days, you'll receive 1 email per day with valuable information about oils and oily products made specifically for your pets and animals. These products are pre-diluted. Okay. Okay. Cool. Now you said that you had this on kiosk mode and you're getting people to sign up at a local event.
Yes.
So you have a landing page for it.
Correct.
Okay, cool. And then it looks like you're theming your product theming throughout the whole thing. So here are my recommendations.
Right.
Okay.
I just basically went through the animals oils kit and
Uh-huh.
some of the animal products.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
we had a class about oils and animals where we talked about how to use them and, you know, to dilute and things like that. And then if they wanted to get this series of messages about those specific products, they could opt in for that.
Perfect. Okay. So what I would do in the first email here, and in all of them, of course, like we've talked about today with branding, is to add some really nice image
Right.
up to the top and have that congruent throughout. And then what I would say is in this first message, as you're setting the expectations for the remainder of the campaign, you want to also go ahead and hit on, because you are really going to be promoting products into the future campaigns, you want to really position these products as a solution to a much bigger problem. So for instance, maybe it's something that you cover in the class and you can reference back to that in this first email. You could also say something to the effect of, not feeling uncertain, the fear of being uncertain about the safety of the product that you might buy from the store to use on your pet, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to kind of create that environment here where people know that they need to stay tuned. So it's not just because, okay, I sell this stuff and now I'm going to tell you about it. It's, okay, look, there's a big problem and let's go ahead and address that elephant in the room. And now over the next 9 days, I'm going to share with you the solutions I found to that problem. So this product, that product, that product, and so on. And then of course, sort of setting that stage so that people are more receptive because of the format that you've chosen here being very, product promotional. You want to make sure that you're setting the stage by saying, look, yes, I sell these products, but there's a reason why. And here's this big problem. And this is, and I'm going to share with you the solutions to it over that course of time. Does that make sense? Just sort of thematically how you're
totally
information.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great feedback. Yes.
Awesome. And then the other thing that you should do, absolutely, if you haven't done this already, is in each of these emails where you are referencing a specific Young Living product, you want to hyperlink it. You want to link this off so that they can actually go and purchase it from you directly. And of course, when you set this up, it'll actually when they go to check out, it'll give them the option of, hey, become a member, save 24%, right? It'll automatically push them through that. So if you've already done enough to build credibility with people and you've really in setting the theme for this, you've really driven the message home that like, look, the stuff that's out there is scary. We can't really trust it. Here's what I know. Here's what I use. Here's what I trust. And over the next, this amount of time, I'm going to share with you each of those things, why they're important, why they're different, and how you can get access to them at 24% off retail.
Now, how do we find the hyperlink for, say, that product from my website?
Great question.
Yes. So the first step is to just go to youngliving.com and find whatever product you're looking for. There's also the key. The key also is you need to pass in your member number. And this, for those of you who are watching the recording, this might be easier if you just shoot us a quick email. We can put this in there, but I'll put this in the chat. You want to add this to the end of your link. It's like @ sponsor ID equals, and then the XYZ would be the number that you would swap out with whatever your member number is. So you would take your link for, what is this, Repel Aroma, and add on, so just going to find it here.
So just go to the Young Living side and add that ending to it.
All right. Yep. So what was that, Greg? It's a ! equals?
!, and it's the word sponsor ID, all ran together. Sponsor ID equals, and then whatever your number is, and then it's an ampersand and enroller ID equals. I'm going to double check on that just to make sure I'm not.
Yeah, that's it. I had it written down on a sticky note on my.
Perfect.
Yep, that is right.
And then it's enroller ID equals, and then
your member number.
Your member number.
Perfect. Yep. So then you're going to grab that and copy it, and then over here when you click on the image, you insert the link.
Gotcha.
Tell it to open in a new tab. And so now when you go off and you click off there, it's going to, when they say that they want it, well, this one's out of stock right now, but if the add to cart button was here, they could click that, and then it'll show that you're the enroller, and offer them to get started as a member.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. And then, yeah, don't forget your,
Yeah.
excuse me, I'm sorry, don't forget your signature at the bottom, maybe with your face and, with a little tagline of, where they can get more information, or are you a member of my private family? I'm here.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So the other question I had is where I put in where it says choose image, not
Okay.
not in the body, but below the message.
Okay.
Where,
this one right here.
If you pick an image for that, where do they? Where does that show up?
If they opt in for a text campaign, this is for text marketing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so a couple of let's see. Anytime you want to link something in the view, you can. Shelly just had a breakthrough with adding that code to the end of a Young Living URL that links to a product. Yes, you can absolutely link products in your emails, on your landing pages, that go straight up to the Young Living website, that are coded to have those people check out with you. Yes, automatically. How cool is that?
Pretty much any page on Young Living's website. Now, it doesn't work with Seed to Seal, their Seed to Seal site, but it works with youngliving.com.
Yeah. Yep. So you can actually promote products in this way. So for instance, if you wanted to, if there's a sale on a particular product or product line, or if maybe there is an essential rewards promotion, like a PV promotion, you can absolutely use this for that as well. Or in the case of what Jackie's decided to do here, and I'm so glad that you chose this format, Jackie, because I think it's important for people to remember that you can do product promotion in email series if you set those expectations up, and if you do the job of contrasting to say that, look, or maybe if you did this with Savvy Minerals, right? You would say, like, look, we all know, that we all know this, that, or the other thing about makeup, but did you know this? Create the big bad, let people know, like, there's this dangerous thing. Did you know that it causes this, it causes that? Well, you may be wondering, or your head may be spinning, if you've tried to figure out how to navigate this area, successfully, and keeping yourself, or your pets in this case, healthy. And over the next week, I'm going to share with you the products that I use, that I trust, that are guaranteed, and this and that, and and then here's what you can expect. Hit reply and let me know what your goals are related to this, right? So
awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Do you have any questions, Jackie?
No, that's very helpful. I created this several weeks ago before I knew any of this, so this really helps. I have to go back in and fix them.
Great. All right, cool. Excited to see what you do with that. Thank you so much for coming out.
Lots of excitement in the chat.
Indeed. All right. All right. Good job, everybody. I know we went a little longer today than usual, but this is definitely a topic that deserves it. So yeah, we'll definitely be on the lookout for the recording. And for those of you who are now watching this at the end of recording in the future, have fun pausing and going back over it, and definitely send us your campaigns. Let us see what you're working on. And if you are interested in coming out and joining us, like our friends did here today on a future work session, let us know. We'd be happy to have you. There is something so incredibly valuable in being able to see other people going through this process in action, to kind of have those bells click, right? Or to have the bells go off for things to click for you to really understand in the context of what you're trying to achieve. So we had a couple of great examples today with folks that are making awesome campaigns. And I hope that you all are super confident now to go out and build your first one. So definitely send us an email and let us see what you've started. All right.
Awesome.
Great. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in for this long, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.